Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good
Salam.
morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today I will present the material entitled Characteristics and Typology of Digital Text in Language and Literature. In this presentation, I will explain what digital texts are, how they develop, what their main characteristics are, and what kinds of digital texts we usually find in language literature. I will also explain why this topic is important for education, especially in the Indonesian context. In this presentation, I will divide the discussion into four main parts. First, I will explain the introduction and historical evaluation of digital text. Second, I will discuss digital mediation and the key characteristics of digital text. Third, I will explain the typology of digital text in language and literature. Four, I will talk about the Indonesian digital text um, and its educational implications. And the last, I will also mention some uh, critical reading of the article related with this topic. So with this presentation, move from the theory to the practice. We start with the concept, then the characteristics, then the types, and finally the relevance for education today. To begin, we need to understand that digital technology has changed the way people read, write, and communicate. So today, communication is not only done through printed words, it's now strongly shaped by digital tools such as smartphone, computer, social media, and online platform. As you can see here, the first thing is transformation from reading, writing, and daily communication have been fundamentally shaped by digital technology. And then another important is mediation. Our interactions are now constantly filtered and shaped by the digital tools we use. This means that our communication is filtered through technology. When we send a message, post on social media, or read online news, the digital platform affects how the message is created and understood. Another third one is multimodality. Text today is rarely isolated. It seamlessly integrates image, audio, video, and interactive links. The third key point here is multimodality. It means that they often combine words with image, audio, video, animation, and so on and so on. So modern communication is richer but also more complex. And now we move to the what is digital text. Digital text is kind of produced and distributed via digital technology. It combines multiple modes like written language, image, video, sound, hyperlinks, and digital text usually, for the example, an online news article may be not only paragraph of text, but also photograph, video clips, and clickable links. And not only about that, maybe some ad advertisement that is also can be seen by us as the reader. So digital text is different from traditional print text because it's not limited to one mode. It is usually multimodal, interactive, and connected to other text through networks. So this is the historical development of the text. You can see here in the three large stages. The first is oral, then the second one is printed, and then the third one is digital. In the oral stage, knowledge was passed through spoken stories and human memory. People remembered information through repetition, performance, and also from the community sharing. In the printed stage, books help standardize knowledge. Print made text more stable, fixed, and easier to distribute widely. And yeah, in this stage also shape formal education, literacy, and academic culture. In the digital stage, text become networked and multimodal. They are no longer fixed in one physical form. Instead, they can be edited, shared quickly, connected by links, and combined with many media forms. So, digital media does not simply replace print, it changes the way communication. Now we move to the theory of mediation. This slide introduces the theory of mediation, especially from Vygotsky perspective. According to this view, tools mediate human cognition and social interaction. In simple words, humans do not communicate directly in a natural way. Communication is influenced by the tools they use. For example, when we are writing with paper, it's different from writing on social media. Speaking in classroom is different from speaking in a video call. So as we know that there are many changes here in this modern era, especially in the digital uh, text. And then and this idea important because it shows that technology is not only passive instrument. Technology shapes the forms and possibilities of communication. It affects speed, um, style, interaction, and even meaning. This is for the implication. And now we move to the another one that is media as extensions of human. This slide connects well with Marshall McLuhan's idea that media are extension of humans. For the example, extended our memory because it stores context, notes, photos, and information. Here, for the main point, here is that media do not only help us communicate easily, but they also change the scale and form of communication. Because of that, the design of media matters. A platform structure influences how we think, speak, read, and respond to the others. Now we move to the multimodality. That means combining multiple communication modes. So meaning is produced through more than one channel. Common modes includes text, image, video, sound, and also animation. Um, why it matters? Multiple modes increase accessibility, engagement, and expressive range. And for the classroom uses, when we are going to use multimodality in the classroom context, um, focusing on assignments that is combination between writing, imagery, and audio that can foster critical media literacy. So um, multimodality also matters here in education assignment that combining that yeah hopefully can help our teaching method or assessing for the students. And now we move to the interactivity. The digital text support interaction across roles and moments from author to reader and between readers themselves. Interaction transforms passive consumption into participation. There are some forms of interaction. The first is command, likes, shares, tag, and embed. Replies create layered conversation. And this changes the role of the reader. Uh, Readers are not only passive consumer anymore; they become active participant. they become active participants, like shaping, amplifying, and remixing text in real time. So interactivity is one of the major difference between digital and traditional printed text. Now we move to the connectivity. Digital text also exists in a network environment. This means they are connected to platforms, communities, and communication systems. Blogs, forum, and social media connect creators and audience. Text can move quickly from one place to another. They can be shared, changed, commented, and reinterpreted by different people in different contexts. And the focus is the digital text exists in a network environment. They are built into systems that enable fast, distributed communication and collective sense making across the distance. Okay, digital texts are rarely static. Many are editable, updated in real time, and produced collaboratively, which changes how authorship, authority, and revisions are understood. A print book is fixed after publication, but a digital text may continue to change over. Yeah, here are some characteristics of the digital text. The first is editable, versioned and revised content, and then second one, real-time updates, quick corrections and responses. Third, collaborative authorship, multiple contributors shape the text. So um, the clear example is like in Wikipedia. Many people can edit it, discuss it, and improve it. Its revision history also makes the writing process visible. So digital text is often flexible, open, and collaborative. Now I move to the typology of digital text. This presentation, digital texts are divided into several broad types. Um, the first type is information of the digital text. Yeah, here this focus on dialogue and participation. Yeah, deliver facts and structure knowledge. For the example, news site, academic blogs, and then the second one is interactive digital text. This experiment with focusing on the dialogue and participation. For the example, in chats and also in forums. And then the third one, enable dialogue and participation. For the example, also the same, yeah, in chat and forum, experiment with form and expression. For the example, in multimedia storytelling. Then the last is social, personal and network communication, just like tweets and also caption. Yeah. And then now we move to the informational digital text. Informational digital texts are designed to deliver structured information clearly and reliably. Their main purpose is to inform the readers. The example include online article and then news websites and academic blogs. These texts usually have clear organizations such as headings, subheadings, and hyperlink. They may also include multimedia support like images, chart, or video. One important design point is navigation. In digital information, readers often need tools such as menu, links, and tables of content. These features help readers move through the information more easily. So this type of digital text is strongly related to clarity, structure, and access of knowledge. And then we move to the interactive digital text. Creative digital texts push formal boundaries. They combine words, image, sound, and interactivity to create richer and more immersive experiences. One example is multimedia storytelling. This kind of storytelling uses video, audio, image, and interactive elements to produce layered meaning. Um, for the example, the digital poetry and fan fiction. And these forms often experiment with voice, perspective, and intertextuality. They may also challenge traditional ideas about what literature looks like. So, creative digital text show that digital media does not only transmit information, it also opens new possibilities for artistic expression and literary innovation. Social digital texts are designed for rapid sharing and personal expression. For example, include Instagram captions, tweets, and Facebook posts. This text usually use informally language and emoji, hashtag, and multimodal features. For the multimedia storytelling, narratives that integrate video, audio, and interactive elements for layered meaning. And then here you can see that experimental forms that reframe voice, perspective, and intertextuality. Now we move to the social digital texts that are designed for rapid sharing and personal expression. The example is like Instagram caption, tweets, Facebook posts, and then the characteristic like informal language, emoji, hashtag, multimodal affordance. And the important analytic focus here is how platforms affect writing style and the visual culture of Instagram affects how users present themselves. This make social digital text important for understanding identity, audience, and digital rhetoric. Collaborative digital texts are based on peer production. And this means knowledge is created and improved by communities, not only by a single author. Example includes wiki, shared documents, and open source documentation. Their characteristic include simultaneous editing, revision history, comments, and negotiation between contributors. In education, collaborative writing is very useful. It teaches students how to work together, how to give attribution, how to negotiate ideas, and how to revise collectively. So, collaborative digital texts are not only about writing, they are also about social learning, responsibility, and shared knowledge production. Now we move to digital text in Indonesia. Here, digital texts are widespread across social media, online learning, local platforms, and communities such as Wattpad, Indonesia, and online poetry groups help create new genre and peer-driven literacy practices. People do not only read text online, they also write, comment, share, and build communities around them. The implication is clear. Digital literacy is essential for Indonesian students. If students want to participate in contemporary learning, and literary culture, they need two skills to read, evaluate, and create digital text effectively. The implication for education here, this brings us to educational implications. There are at least three important areas. First, we need to develop digital literacy. Students should understand how platforms shape meaning through interface, algorithms, and genre conventions. Second, we need to teach multimodal writing. Students should learn to compose not only with words, but also with image, audio links, and maybe interaction. For example, they can create digital stories, podcasts, or annotated hypertext. Third, we need to strengthen critical reading. Students must learn how to read across modes and evaluate credibility, persuasion, and source quality. The final goal is to help students evaluate information, create responsible digital text, and communicate effectively with different audiences. Now we move to the conclusion that in conclusion, digital texts are multimodal, interactive, and strongly shaped by technology. We also see that platforms and interfaces influence how language is used, shared, and interpreted. Because of that, digital literacy is no longer optional. It is essential for students in contemporary education. Students today should be able to analyze multimodal text, create digital narrative, and participate responsibly in online communities. So the study of digital text is very important for language education, literary studies, and digital literacy and developments. These theories help us these are the main references in this presentation. They include important scholars such as June and Hafner on digital literacy, and then uh, McLuhan on media, and Vygotsky in education. Now, I will continue to the article review. Yeah. Um, I will briefly discuss the first reviewed article, digital genre. These are um, the strengths, weakness, suggestion, and we can see the aspect that is available here. For the literature review, the strength explain the concept of genre theory clearly, discusses important scholars such as Swells and Bhatia, shows the relationship between traditional genre and digital communication. And for the weaknesses, the review focuses more on theory than real research examples. Limited discussion of recent studies about digital communication become one of the weaknesses here. And for the suggestion, add more recent studies about online communication and then compare different types of digital platforms. The findings for the strength is shows that digital genre combine text and technology, explain the role of hypertext and multimedia in web communication, introduce a two-dimensional genre model. And then for the weaknesses, findings are mostly based on theory. The study mainly analyzes websites, not other digital media. The suggestion is use more empirical data from different digital platforms, compare several types of digital communication. Then for the discussion, explain how the internet changes communication practices, highlight the importance of navigation and multimedia in digital text. The discussion is quite theoretical. This is one of the weaknesses. A limited explanation of practical use in education or communication field. And for the suggestion, provide more real examples of digital communication, explain how the model can be used in education or media studies. And then the review article 2, Writing the Future in the Digital Age by Guy Merchant. This is the review that I've made here. The aspect literature review strength is provide a clear explanation of technology integration in education, reviews previous studies about digital learning and literacy. The weakness, some literature is general and not deeply analyzed, and for the suggestions, include more recent international research about technology and education. And then for the aspect findings, and the strength shows that technology can improve students' engagement and interaction, identifies digital tools that support learning, and for the weakness, limited quantitative data to measure learning improvement. And then the suggestion is use statistical data and experiments to strengthen findings. So, for the discussion, explain that the roles of technology in supporting modern learning environments. The weakness of this discussion is such there are challenges such as access to technology is limited. And then for the suggestion, discuss barriers like internet access, digital skills, and teacher training. Yeah, these are some strengths and weaknesses viewed by some aspect. That now I continue to the another article that is reproduce and emergent genre of communication of the World Wide by Kevin Cronston and Mary Williams. The aspect here is the same, focusing on literature review, findings, and discussion. The strength for literature review discusses theories that relate to e-learning and digital education, explains how technology support language learning, and the weaknesses is theoretical explanation is stronger than empirical analysis, suggestion, and more case studies from different countries or institutions. Then for the findings, the strength is shows that digital tools help independent learning and collaboration, while the weakness is research scope is limited to certain contexts. The suggestion compare multiple digital learning platforms. The discussion strength is highlights the importance of integrating technology and pedagogy, while the weaknesses is limited explanation of teacher implementation strategy. The suggestion provide guidelines for teachers using digital tools in class. Yeah, I think that's all for my presentation. We still have 6 minutes, around 6 minutes to continue to this question and answer session. Please.
Ya, Pak Rifki.
Ya, Pak Agus.
Yeah, based on your presentation, first of all, congratulate for the insightful presentations. I got some, not some, but only one question. How does multimodality influence the way meaning is constructed in digital communication? Pak Rifki, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Agus, for the question. So, you asked about multimodality influence that the way meaning is constructed in digital communication. Yeah. So, in my opinion, multimodality influence meaning because in digital communication, meaning is not made by words alone. Yeah, it's made through the combination of text, image, video, sound, animation. So people do not understand a message only by reading sentence, but also and they can try to interpret uh, by watching the visuals or listening the audio layout and another digital features. So for the example, if we see an Instagram post about environmental uh, awareness, the meaning does not come only from the caption. It also comes from the photo, the color choice, and the background music, if it is a real, and even the hashtag. Yeah, so in my view, multimodality makes communication more expressive, more engaging, and sometimes more persuasive. But at the same time, it also makes reading more complex because reader must understand several modes at once, yeah, not only the language. That's from my point, Pakus.
Thank you, Bariki.
Okay, you're welcome.
Me, Pak Rifki.
Yes, Punyanyo. Sure, please. What's the
Thank,
question?
thank you. As I know, integrating digital text into language and literature educations, it refers to use the digital based on reading and writing materials, right? Such as ebook, blogs, interactive stories, multimedia narratives, and online articles. What challenges may arise when integrating digital text into language and literature educations? According to you, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Punyanyo, for the question. So, if I'm not mistaken, your question is focusing on the challenge. So, in my opinion, one important challenge is complexity. Um, because as we know, the multimodal contains um, often contain interaction and then um, not only text but also audio, video, and extra. And another challenge is maybe assessment. In language and literature education, teachers are used to assessing essays or printed text, but when students create digital stories, podcasts, or multimodal projects, teachers need new criteria. And they must assess not only grammar and content, but also media choice, design, audience awareness, and interaction. Also, there is another challenge that is maintaining literary depth. Sometimes students may focus too much on visual effects um, or technology that they use or they face rather than to the language interpretation and critical reflection. So teachers need to balance creativity with deep analysis. So I think the challenge is how to integrate text without losing the core goals of language and literature, which are interpretation, critical thinking, and meaningful expression that must be included there.
All right, thank you, Pak Rifki.
Okay,
Oh,
Parifki,
your
can I give question?
okay.
It's still
Yes,
about
Fajar.
challenge, what Buya you said, but I'd like to bring with this case study. It is about auto translation in the gadget. So we often ask the student to find the article, the digital text in their handphone, laptop, or under the gadget. So the question is, maybe is this your experience? How can EFL teachers anticipate students on the use of automatic translation in digital text, and we guide them to develop their critical reading and deep comprehension skills? Because I often find the student when I give the the digital text, yeah. So I see them auto translation, so they read in bahasa, gitu, not in English. So do you have the same experience as me? So
Yeah. Okay. We continue our discussion for the question that delivered by Pak Anjar. Uh, Maybe I'll try to confirming again. The question is about how can EFL teachers anticipate students' reliance on automatic translation, ya Pak Anjar, that they use in digital text and guide them toward developing critical reading and deep comprehension, comprehension skills. Okay, thank you for the question, Pak Anjar. Yeah, I have some experiences related with this question. They installed an app that is directly translate into Bahasa Indonesia, or they try to take a picture for the on the question, and then it directly shows in Bahasa version or in Indonesian language version. That's I think we need to think more and more before we give that kind of question. So I think sometimes many students depend on automatic translation because it is fast and easy. But if they rely on it too much, uh, excuse me, my is my voice clear because there is azan near my place. Is it clear my voice, everyone?
Yes, Pak.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Back to the uh, to my perspective on it. Yeah, many students depend on automatic translation because it is fast and easy. Yeah, but if they rely on it too much, they may understand only the surface meaning, not the deeper meaning of the text. They may miss tone, context, cultural meaning, or implicit content from the writer's purpose. So, um, EFL teachers should not simply forbid automatic translation. Instead, they should teach students how to use it critically. In other words, translation tools should be treated as support tools, not as a thinking tools. For the example, a teacher can ask students to read a short digital text first without translation. Then students identify the keywords, the topic, and the main idea. After that, they can use automatic translation to check difficult parts. Um, After that, yeah, the teacher can compare the translated version with the original text and discuss what meanings may be lost or changed. So this is important because digital literacy is not only about using tools but also about understanding tools, how students evaluate information critically. Yeah, so the conclusion from my answer is it's okay using the tools, automatic tools, but we have to teach them how to use it more critically based on the need. Yeah, I think that's about my answer, Panjar.
thank you very much, Pak Rifki.
Okay, Pak. Okay. Um, Anyone who wants to ask a question again?
Yes. May I, Pak Rifki?
Okay, Pak Jojo.
Um, Thank you very much for having me, and you have insightful information about uh, key for today's material. So I'm interesting about page 20, uh, which mentions about the implications of educations mainly in the digital era. So in
Excuse me,
page
Pak
20,
Cucu. Can you make
yes.
your voice louder?
Hmm? Hmm?
Wait a minute.
Hello? Oh, have you heard my voice?
Yes, Pak Cucu, can you repeat once more, maybe, or
Literacy, and you've mentioned about that this kind of uh, topic can develop the digital literacy, and it also can, I mean, students can also design the assignments that require imposing with media and interactions. For example, like digital stories, podcasts contained in hypertext, and also it can strengthen critical thinking because it is a basic powerhouse for students. So, with that, of the implications for educations, the question is that is there any challenge for implementing digital literacy in the real educational context?
okay? Wait a minute. So, in my opinion, the challenge of students, or what we call it, the main challenge in implementing the digital literacy is in real educational context. There are several important challenges that I notice here. The first is the issue of the access, because not all of the students have the same internet connection, device, or digital learning environment. And this is especially important in real classroom because, um, like when I was uh, teaching in junior high school that is surrounded by the forest, the internet connection is very difficult. So I think the the first challenge that may be happen is internet connection. And then the second, teacher readiness is also a challenge here, because some teachers may use digital tools, but they may still need support in teaching students how to read critically, evaluate sources, or understand how platforms shape meaning. So, challenge is not only in the technology but also in pedagogy. Yeah, I think that's from my perspective, Pak Jojo, focusing on the students and the teacher. if there is no more questions, I think it's enough for us to finish our present. So